Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this edition, we'll be reviewing the 9-month um, current year FY 2024 results for Varun Beverages. Varun Beverages has had a massive run in terms of the performance that it has and the capital appreciation that is done for shareholders over the years. And it has created immense value, not only for Pepsi company, but also for the shareholders that have been with the share and have reposed their faith for the share. And so, briefly talking about the relationship between Varun Beverage and PepsiCo, they have a symbiotic relationship. They are highly dependent on each other. Varun Beverages um, is accountable for selling 90% of the total sales volume for PepsiCo um, right now, and it is present in all the states of India except for Andhra Pradesh and Jammu and Kashmir, where it is not. And it is also expanding its footprint into international countries, and it has also widening the product portfolio that it has. Now, Barun Beverage does all the back-end work for PepsiCo in terms of the warehousing, the bottling. So PepsiCo provides the concentrate to Varun Beverage, and uh, Varun Beverage goes on to use that concentrate, mix it with water, and produce a lot of the products that it produces. So what really got me intrigued and wanted to really go through this because I've been hearing a lot of value investors all across the globe. They are talking about how a bottling plant is a superior business in terms of the cash flow that it generates and the revenue that it generates. And if a bottling plant has got foothold of a country's premium beverage supply chain, then it is very difficult to dismantle that business. So given that how Varun Beverage over the 32 years of association with PepsiCo has built that reputation, has built up the moat around its business in terms of handling all the things that it does for Pepsi. And from where I see it, it looks like it is only going to get stronger from here. Some of more of the brands that Pepsi introduces, or some more of the brands internationally that Pepsi has, which is not present in India, if it does decide to bring it to India, then it's all going to come down to Barun Beverage to do the execution bit, and Pepsi can then sit back and relax and count the cash, basically. So if you look at the footprint in terms of, so this is the map of the country, and here what is in dark blue is the VBL India sub-territories. The light blue is VBL international territories. So we have Nepal and Sri Lanka within it. The green ones are territories with only distribution rights, right? Not the franchisee rights. So and these are the pink one is the other franchise territories, right? And the Pepsi, which is mentioned, is VBL manufacturing plant. So it has manufacturing plants all across India. Even in the northeast of region, in Guwahati, it has a manufacturing plant in Begusarai, Kolkata. So it's present well across the country, and hence the supply chain would become easier for it. So it went on expanding the manufacturing plants all across India, so that the cost associated with supply chain would go on reducing. Um, and here we can see that besides Andhra Pradesh and Kashmir, it is present in not only India but also across Nepal and Sri Lanka, right? When we talk about the international footprint, so what happened in 27th March 2024 is that they consolidated the franchise territories of South Africa, Lesotho, and Eswatini, and the territories with distribution rights in Namibia, Botswana, Mozambique, and Madagascar. So they're still not present in Nigeria. Nigeria is one of the high growth countries within Africa. So if we see here, they also have a Lay's franchise territories within Namibia and Zimbabwe, right? And as well as Morocco. So it's expanding its international footprint because of all the cash that is gushing in from bottling Pepsi and the other associated brands with it. It also has Aquafina, which is the mineral water within its portfolio. And we'll look at some more detail in what the portfolio has. So obviously, carbonated soft drink is the most dominated one. And also, carbonated soft drink is something which is highly underpenetrated in India. So if you look at the growth, like growth in terms of total sales volume, from 2018 to 2023, which is the full year. Here, what we have for 2024 is a 9-month number. And really, the growth that really comes in terms of the sales volume comes in April and June quarter, because that is the summer quarter where the consumption of cold drinks is the highest. So the high growth quarter is already done for the 2024 period. But also, what really happened in 2024 was the early onset of monsoon, because of which the consumption was a little muted, right? So when we look at these numbers, we look at 21.8% CAGR of growth, right? Uh, what the business strategy really is to keep knocking on the doors of underpenetrated regions within India, and those are many. What it also understands is some of the products where um, the ticket size needs to be lower, the attractiveness needs to be higher. So hence they have launched Sting. Now Sting is a 20 to 25 rupees pink color energy drink, the so-called energy drink, which is being consumed in massive proportions and is one of the really hero products of uh, Pepsi, or hero products of Varun Beverages in the recent years. So it has been able to win in terms of introducing something new in terms of the low ticket size and very attractive packaging and attractive looking drink, which a lot of people after the day work or day wage work, and all the wage workers are really beginning to consume it. And if you look at the proportion of international to India, so here we are talking about 737 million cases in India, whereas 176 million cases internationally. And and even now when we look at the numbers and when we compare it globally in terms of the per capita consumption, obviously the per capita income is also lower. So our per capita income is close to in the 2500 US dollar per annum range, compared to some of the more developed economies where the per capita income is higher than $50,000 in a lot of developed countries. So obviously the per capita consumption will be different, right? But that just goes on to show that if a per capita income for India also gets added on and keeps getting increased, there is a case for these sales volume to also go on rising for the next 10 years. So this is something which really needs to be watched out for, because these type of businesses, the business where you do bottling manufacturing, is considered really high margin, and hence investors internationally are super interested and they go on shopping for those businesses across the globe. So they look at, this is a bottling plant, and most of the times the bottling plant business, the dynamics is same across the globe, right? So they look for something which is cheap. So they understand it's a great business, but they also want it cheaper. Uh, so whenever they do find something cheap. So for example, Monish Pabrai, he bought a CCI, which is a Turkey-based bottling plant, and in spite of all the deterioration in currency and the high inflation that Turkey is encountering, he still went ahead and brought it, and his investments have done really well for him. So coming back to Varun Beverages and looking at the product portfolio that they have, in terms of the carbonated soft drinks, they have Pepsi and the Pepsi Zero Sugar and Mountain Dew, Mirinda, and Seven Up. So these are some of the really dominant players in the carbonated soft drink space. Although obviously Coca-Cola globally is, in terms of volume, is much higher than Pepsi, but Varun Beverage is in the bottling segment, and um, within this, these brands also doing very well in India. So carbonated soft drinks is the highest in demand in terms of what is really demanded by the consumers, followed by the fruit pulp or juice based drinks, which is the mango based drinks. Sports drink is also something it has gotten into in Gatorade, in terms of Gatorade. Carbonated juice based drinks like Nimbus and iced tea, Lipton iced tea. In terms of packaged water, Aquafina is one of the more visible names that are out there. It also has something called Aquaves, which I have never seen. Dukes in terms of the club soda, and Everest in terms of the other club soda that it has. Sting is, again, as I mentioned, really highly popular because of the low ticket size that it has. And in terms of the snacks, Frito-Lay, Cheetos, Doritos, Simba, and Kurkure. So Kurkure and Cheetos, these look very popular in terms of the name visibility and those kind of things. Even Doritos is also something which is very popular. There's a lot of ads you would see for Doritos, and it has within its product portfolio as well. So this is also something that they've gotten into, the dairy based drinks. Yeah. So and Cream Bell. So here they mentioned Cream Bell trademark has been licensed to be used by VBL for ambient temperature value added dairy-based beverages. So now looking at the symbiotic relationship with PepsiCo, uh, so it is a 32 years of long association that it has with PepsiCo. 90% of PepsiCo India sales volume. Um, PepsiCo holds the trademarks. It provides the formulation through concentrate. It is concentrated on the product and packaging innovation through investment in R&D. So these are some of the things that PepsiCo is involved in. So if you compare that to a Bollywood movie, PepsiCo is the Shah Rukh Khan, and Varun Beverage is all the editors and the directors and all the people who in the background are doing all the work. And if the movie does well, Shah Rukh Khan is praised exponentially compared to all the background workers. So pretty similar analogy here as well. Nobody has heard of Varun Beverages. Uh, not a lot of people have heard of Varun Beverages in terms of its association with PepsiCo, right? And not a lot of people would know. But Varun Beverages accounts for 90% of the PepsiCo India sales volume. It is involved in production facilities, sales and distribution, in-outlet management, Visi coolers. Now, what is Visi coolers? Visi coolers are the PepsiCo branded fridges that you see. So it is involved in the outlet management for these Visi coolers, and these Visi coolers have had a large part to play in terms of the branding. So any Kirana store that you go to, you have the Pepsi products lined up in the attractive little fridge that there is, the transparent fridge that there is, and from there you can see the Pepsi product, and on top there's a logo of Pepsi and the branding of Pepsi that there is. So Varun Beverages is involved in the outlet management for it. Now, when we look at the business model, right? So what are some of the things that it is involved in? So here, in terms of the manufacturing, the concentrate is provided by PepsiCo. Other raw materials used, water is used significantly in a high proportion. As I was reading through the annual reports, and they also give an account of how they use water responsibly and those kind of things for their ESG purposes and corporate social responsibility. Bottling is something that they do. 48 state-of-the-art production facilities. They have built a robust supply chain. Now, the building this robust supply chain has happened over a lot of years, and also because it was able to open its manufacturing plants all across India. So earlier, when if for example Guwahati, the northeastern bottling plant was not there, so it would produce it in Calcutta and send it across to the northeastern region. But now, since it has a bottling plant in Guwahati, it can cater to the northeastern region. And as we go along, it would want to go deeper into the northeastern region through getting into Manipur and Nagaland, and so that it can further reduce the transportation cost, right? But that'll be all wait and watch. I think it'll all depend on a dependable bottling plant that they can partner with. So in terms of cost efficiency, backward integration, 3 exclusive plus 14 integrated plants. And Yeah, so the cash flow for this business, as we would see, is generating huge amounts of profitability when we look at it in the subsequent slides. So here, when we talk about the results overview, right, and we look at what the numbers have done, what the revenue is, we'll skip the EBITDA because we'll directly jump into the PAT. But when we look at the revenue in terms of Q3 of 2023, it was doing so. These numbers are in million. So this is 3,870 crores, and this is 4,804 crores, right? There has been a jump of close to 24%, and within a quarter, they are able to do 4,800 to close to 5,000 crore worth of business, right? And the revenue, if you compare the 9 month of 2023 to the 9 month of 2024, it has done 13,374 crore in terms of the 9 month and 16,318 crore. So that's a 22% jump year on year for the 9 months of 2023 and 2024. In terms of the PAT, right? PAT also has seen a jump of 24.5%, and it has done a profit of 1958, so close to 2,000 crore. And in 2024 9 month, it has done a profit of 2,500 crore. Now, again, 9 month of 2024 has still seen a muted response to revenue, and this revenue should have been way higher because of the early onset of monsoons. Early onset of monsoons is a big part to play because obviously the April to June quarter, that quarter that there is the highest in terms of the volume that Varun Beverage sells, right? And if you have an early onset of monsoon, that tends to have an impact on your revenue. But as we can clearly see, these are very attractive numbers in terms of a 22% growth and a high growth number. But still, this would have been way higher if there would not have been early onset of monsoons. So here, this is what I was talking about. So Q2, right? So Q2 sees a 28% in jump in terms of volume numbers, and that number is very low for Q1. So obviously because of winter, right? Winter all across India, not everywhere, but obviously the number is 7.2% growth, just growth. And here we see 224 million cases, whereas here in Q2 of 2024, we see 402 million cases. So basically, it does more than double of what it does in Q4 of 2023, and approximately a double of what it does in Q1 2024. So this clearly goes to show that Q2, the seasonality favors Varun Beverages because of the summer conditions that prevail all across the country. Now, if you look at the volume here in terms of the breakup, right? CSD breakup, juice breakup, and water breakup. So here you can see that Q2 of 2023 and Q2 of 2024, we see that these numbers, so 85, 7, and 40 for Q4 of 2022. So basically the cases that there is, CSD is obviously the most dominant, right? And yeah, so this is showing the kind of jumps that it has and the breakup that there is. So you see that 65, 68%, 71%. So if you look at it in summer season, 76% is dominated by carbonated soft drink, that is the CSD. And it ranges from 65 to 76% across the seasons, right? So we'll quickly have a look at the profit and loss statement as well. So here what we see is the revenue jumps that here, obviously we discussed this 22.6% and net profit 24.5% jump. And yeah, so these are some of the numbers that there are in terms of from the top line, how do they reach the net profit after tax, and what are some of the tax expense and other income, which I currently do not have a visibility on and would have to do further research to find out what it has. And finance cost, obviously finance cost because it is undergoing capex investment to increase capacities. So hence the finance cost, and the debt levels are also high because of that, and hence there will be finance costs associated with it. So here, if you look at, there's a 75.6% jump in finance costs, right? So because in Q3 of 2023, the number of capex investment that it had undertaken was lower compared to what it had undertaken in 9 months of 2023, and hence the big jump in 75.6%. So basically, what we are saying is that the profitability would be way higher. In spite of this jump in finance cost, it did a profitability year-on-year growth of 24.5%, and if and hence because it has added capacities in the future, the profitability numbers would be way higher compared to where they are today. So I'll close my analysis here. That's it from my side. Please do let me know in the comment section what you think of the analysis. What are some of the key features that you think is important and vital in understanding Varun Beverages even further, which I have missed out? Would love to know that and incorporate it into my thought process for Varun Beverage. And hope you have a lovely day ahead. Thank you. Goodbye.